All right, folks, we've got a new game of sorts here. What's the game there, miss?
Soyuz 81.
And what's it about? The Soviet invasion of Poland in 1981, right?
Right.
Except, did the Soviets invade Poland in 1981?
No.
No. Where were they in 1981? What country had they already invaded? Where did I go for the Joint Chiefs of Staff? The Stan.
Afghanistan.
So they were already in Afghanistan, but they were deep in an economic crisis in Poland because of what? Who was the Polish leader? It wasn't a miner. He was a ship guy, or was he a miner? Lech Walesa?
Oh, Lech Walesa. I can see him. Yeah.
A lot of hair, a lot of mustache.
A lot of mustache.
And there was also the problem of the Polish Pope. So this is a bad time for the Soviets to be dealing with Poland. And of course, this is one of the continuous threats to Soviet communism, because people want to be free. Although we know in certain countries recently, people seem to be yearning to not want to be free. But we won't go there because that would be a political statement. But this is a column of T-55 tanks. What's interesting on the rules is we have an American tank. Now, yeah, you can't see that on the rules there, but I've brought that to our friend Kurt Hudson's attention that why is there an American tank in Germany? So I think they slightly screwed up the rules, but only the cover picture of the rules. So this is the game we're going to be playing. We got this while we were still in Tampa, and interesting. We're going to be getting to this in probably a couple games. So what do we always say?
Nothing.
Oh, and who designed this game? It's the Big B. Ty.
Oh, hi, Ty. Ty Bomba.
Yep, Ty Bomba. Thanks, sweetie. Bye. All right, folks, it's an older issue of Modern War, November-December 2018. Soyuz 81, the Soviet plans to invade Poland. Let me tell you, the article is by Ty Bomba. I think it is the best article Ty Bomba has ever written. It is as good as any that's there. And what made me come to that conclusion was I read an article on it by a journalist from the University of Poland, or Warsaw University, Kaminska, on the Soviet invasion plans for this and this time period. So Bomba's work here is very good. And let's go ahead and open and take a look here. What I do find interesting in this issue and of course, take a look at this picture. That's a very odd picture. But we're looking forward to this one, and we'll break the game out here momentarily. But this is a game you do not want to buy without buying the issue with it, because you want the article. Talk to you in a minute here, folks. Yay, units, cards. And there we go, Buster back again. And we're going to have to dump Buster on the floor. Don't like doing that to Buster because he's my oldest kitty and he's an old guy. But you notice here, the Soviets are broken up in color schemes. Baltic, Belarusian, Central Front Group, the Northern Group of Forces, your German, your Czechs, your East Germans, and notice of all things, the Czech 19th Mech Division is probably the best of these groups because it has the highest there. It's a 2-5. Then you've got the Polish forces. These are all militia. You have the Pomeranian, the Sicilian, and the Warsaw group. The Poles are a pretty effective little army there, except they're vastly outnumbered. Now, what I find very strange is on the set of rules, and now that sure looks like an American tank and American Jeeps, and those are American armor symbols, and that's a Charlie 2-1. So you tell me why an American tank is on the rule cover for this, because Poles don't have American equipment. It's a Thai Bomba game. And let's take a quick look at the rules here, folks. Game map, folks. You see that yellow around there? Poland is certainly isolated, isn't it? Yeah, you got to see my feet there. A lot of empty space in terms of the map board. But is that a bad thing? Well, let's get down and take a look at what that means for you, the game player. We're going to tilt things around here. Here comes the important stuff now. We've got the terrain effects chart and the all-important combat result table. And of course, it's to the left is the attacker's loss, to the right is the defender's loss. And then, of course, you've got various tracks along here, turns, and we've got the terrain key. And as you know, Poland is like a large ham here. It's flat, fairly indefensible. Warsaw makes up much of the map. The rail system, looking around Krakow was a nightmare for the Soviets in terms of if the rail system went there, how were they going to keep the rail lines running to East Germany? Same for Lodz. Same for Warsaw. So part of the issue, the Soviets never wanted to have to do this because they were worried about the rail issues alone. But Poland doesn't have a lot of defensive factors, does it? The central group of forces here is probably the most defensible terrain right here. But across the board, there's not much for the Poles to do in terms of that. Oh, stacking. 5 friendly units can stack per hex. But is that wise for the Poles? Well, we don't know yet. But we're looking forward to this game. We bought this game. This is not furnished to us. And that means I can make an honest review. And doesn't that kill you when a reviewer says, this will be an honest review, as if somebody else's reviews aren't honest? Pet peeve of mine to see that silliness. Anyway, we're looking forward to this one. It'll be a little bit down the road, but originally I blanched at this map, but when I started reading more about it, and after reading the book on Able Archer 1983, said I have to play this game now. As always, we thank you folks, and bye. We have skimmed these rules, and the standard rules, 13 pages. What's interesting is attack factor, defense factor. So when we talked about that one check unit, the one check unit is superior to any of the others. And, standard setup in terms of rules, nicely organized. Critical element, there are no zones of control in this game. So there's no movement cost to move adjacent to or away from enemy units. They also note here some counter errata. On the map, you're going to see this gold row around the map, and here it tells you what it is. It is the area encompassing around Poland that the strategic depth, as it says. All right. Let's see what else we have of interest in the rules. Now, things are drawn by chits. Well, that makes it all interesting, doesn't it? And how to win? Well, Soviet advantage points or the Poles simply by lasting. Now let's go take a look at the map here.